Hello, thank you very much, my people here. And if you are a soccer loving fan, if you are someone who loves Ghana football, kindly join me. Spare me some few minutes to let us dispassionately discuss this all important topic. Someone has put this picture on Twitter or X and is asking if Ghana can ever assemble a team like this. And I said, yes. Very easy to assemble, but very difficult. All of you must contribute to this topic. If you love Ghana football, honestly, so that we dispassionately talk about how to rebuild without looking out for the shortcuts in winning in football. As a sports journalist and as a fan of the Black Stars, this is perhaps the umpteenth time I am going to talk about this. How do you put together a team like this? This was the team that played in the World Cup in Germany 2006. This was certainly the second game or third game because Same Kufuor played in the first game. But I can see Sheila Iliasu in there who replaced Same Kufuor after the loss to Italy. How do you put together a team like this? The process of bringing together this team was very tedious. But those who built the team perhaps did not even live to see the fruits of their labor. I have consistently maintained that Ghana must try as far as we can to avoid the quick fix shortcuts to wanting to win football games and tournaments. You can certainly win games, but tournaments will be very difficult. I start by saying that to put together a crop of players like this, you need a plan. Even without money or the finances, you need a plan. So how did they start? For those of you without background to this, I'm sure a lot of you don't know that this Ghana national team that we see or we saw in 2006 had elements of players who were picked to form the Ghana under-12 team. Ghana used to have an under-12 team as far back as 1989. So by 1991, 92, 93, we had a very strong under-12 team. And guess what? The likes of John Mensah, Lai Kingston, Godwin Atram, George Yamwa, Michael Essien were part of Ghana's under-12 team. If you don't know, Michael Essien, John Mensah, Lai Kingston, Godwin Atram, former Kotoko winger George Yamwa, and a couple of them were part of Ghana's under-12 team. So Michael Essien has known John Mensah and Lai Kingston since they were 11. They were camped at Winneba. This is something that's very new to a lot of fresh supporters of football or young supporters of football. Can you imagine that before the Germans and other nations started, Ghana had an under-12 team. So Michael Essien, John Mensah, and Lai Kingston, those significant people, prominent ones I can mention, were part of the Ghana under-12 team that defeated Benin by 12 goals to nothing at the Accra Sports Stadium and beat Guinea by 9-0. So in those times, West African under-12 was a competition, and Ghana selected players from the junior national teams. We selected players from JSS, primary schools, and we identified Michael Essien when he was 11. Lai Kingston, John Mensah, all of them were selected. And they were beating teams in West Africa like nobody's business. So you have your core of the team having played together for such a long time. So imagine Michael Essien having known John Mensah, Gordon Atram, Lai Kingston since they were 10. They know their weaknesses. They know how they fare in games. They sleep together in rooms. They play matches from under 12 to under 15 to under 17 to under 20. So you have the core of the players being together, the bond that they create. I once listened to Mesut Ozil talk about the relationship he had with the likes of Mario Götze when they played in the under 13 team for Germany. They've slept in the same room, so he understands when Mario Götze is not in the mood for a pass, and when he is, without having to talk to him, he understands the body language. That is how football works. So the team that you are seeing, the team that played at the World Cup in Germany, had elements, the core of the team had played from under 12. And when they got to under 20, the likes of Sule Muntari, I witnessed this with my own eyes when Sule Muntari was picked from Kumasi when he played for Okes and won the Ashanti Regional Championship, brought to Accra for the national final when Ashanti Region Okes played against Abompe from Takoradi, and Sule emerging as the best player of the entire tournament. He was driven that night to Winneba to join the team there, the under 12 team that had matured to under 18. Sule Muntari had to join them. So you keep on building the team. If your number 3 or left back is not solid enough, then you find a Sule Muntari who has emerged as the best player in the SHS games. You replace that left back or you bring competition from there. So Sule Muntari, Derek Boateng, and a couple of the players were picked. Derek was in the central region, Sule Muntari, and a few of them joined. Derek was at Mfansipima, I think. Michael Essien was at Ogesco. So after the championship, the young players together will move to Winneba, and coaches will be training them. So they have played from under 12. Those who couldn't even play at under 12 have started from under 17. So Michael Essien and Atram and Lai and those who started from under 12 with John Mensah will come to under 17. If you have 11 players from under 12 and 5 of them are able to make it into your under 17 team, that is a massive progress. You hardly get it. So you have a core of players, 5, who have moved from the first 11 of your under 12 to your under 17 team. You have the fulcrum of the team. You have the engine. Then you start picking other players to fix in other places. Muntari will join. Derek Boateng will join. John Pencil will join from Brekum as a youngster. So then you start building the team. Razak Ibrahim will join. A whole lot of them will start from under 17. Then you transition them to under 20. So the same team from under 12 moved to under 15, under 17, and the elements were there, the key elements. Then they get to under 20, and they played some of the best football I've seen as a football-loving fan of this country when they played in the Argentina 2001 World Cup. Only Saviola and the likes of Di Alexandro, I still remember the names, were able to beat us in the final 3-0. But this Ghana team was solid. So they had brought in Sule and the other guys. And it was a very good team because the defense of Michael Essien and John Mensah already knew themselves from under 12. There is Lai Kingston. There is this. You are not always going to get all of them. But the key elements will be there. If you have a car and your engine is as consistent and powerful and regular, you can always change the other parts and fix them. That is how to build a solid national team. You cannot use 2 weeks. So I'm just using this team. And they played in 2001, and there was a wholesale migration from 2001. They started the World Cup qualifiers. They went to Mali with the likes of experienced players, Same Kofo and co joined them in Mali for the 2002. So immediately after the World Cup in 2001, the entire under 20 team were moved to the Black Stars. Then they added a few of them. Stephen Appiah had played for Ghana under 15 and he was moved to the under 17 in Ecuador 95. So he has some experience playing for the national team. He has met some of the players in camp at Winneba. He knows their strengths and weaknesses, not only by being told by a British or an Irish coach. He knows them. He knows the players. There is a bond already. So any coach who is coming in is only coming to complement their efforts. The players know themselves. That is how you build a team over time. When Michael Essien has the ball, he knows that I have played with John Pencil in the under 20. I know that from the 80th minute, Pencil is not able to have the momentum he used to have. He doesn't attack like when the game starts. So there is no need to send in a long pass for John Pencil. I know his strength. I know his weaknesses. When it gets to the 90th minute, which player is able to gather the momentum to transform the team? Who is able to hold and knit the team together? This guy has been doing it from under 15. He has the heart of a lion. So when we all are tired, we can always give the ball to Sule Muntari. This is how you get to know yourselves, building a solid team. Even if you don't win tournaments, you know you are on the right track. You know you have a plan, and one day results will come. So the whole team started the 2006 World Cup qualifying campaign after the disaster in Mali. Then we came to 2004. Because they were young enough, we couldn't even qualify. And most of the young players by then had moved to Europe to start their careers and had not played competitive football. So Mali, the 2000 squad in Argentina, 2001 squad in Argentina, a lot of them couldn't feature in the 2004 AFCON qualifiers that we failed to qualify. Olivier Kerekeze and Jimmy Gatete's Rwanda eliminated Ghana. Then the same team was put together when Ralph Zumde came to the Black Stars, started inviting these young players, Gordon Atram, all of them, Michael Essien, brought them together and a few others. You are not always going to have it, I understand. But then you have the core. Look at the qualifiers. We went to the World Cup with Sule Muntari, who started the national team from 99 to 2000. Essien has started from 93, 94 with Lai Kingston. We never know that they started from under 12. They had known themselves, including Dombote, who was always in camp with them in Winneba. So all these players have known themselves when they were teenagers, not even teenagers, 10, 11 years old. That was the Ghana then. Ghana without, they say, Bajimi Bre, without sense. This is the sophisticated Ghana. Look at this team well and compare to the team that played the first game against Cape Verde in the AFCON here in Abidjan. You can clearly see that over 80% of the team in Germany had, by one way or the other, played together. Habib and Sheila had played in Kinshasa together for like 2 years. In the Ghana League, they know themselves. Michael Essien, John Mensah, and I need not to repeat. No need to belabor that point. All of them, by one way or the other, had played in one of Ghana's national teams before or in the same club. So they know the bond. They know how they play. They understand the Ghanaian culture about football. That is how to build a long-lasting, reliable national team. You may not even know when the likes of Ben Kofi started the 5-year development plan. You may not even know the end results. But when you're on right track, you are on the right track, and you lose, certainly results will come. Now, the team that played Cape Verde, virtually none of them had played together in any competitive match for Ghana at the national team level. Many of them had not played together. And Antoine Semenyo, Inaki Williams, Conis Dorfer, Mohamed Salisu, Baba Idrisu, the goalkeeper Richard Ofori, the right back Dennis Odoi, the left back only Gideon Mensah. Kudus was not on the field, but only Gideon Mensah, to me, was the player who had featured for Ghana's national team at the junior level. The entire team that played, I think there were one or two, and they had not played together in any team. Only one of them had featured for a national team, youth level, and not even two of the starting 11 had played together in any national team before. Those of you who follow football religiously, click on the English national team, the Spanish, the German. You are always going to see all the players. If you click on Klaas-Jan Huntelaar, he will start from Dutch under 14 through to the national team. If you click on Mesut Ozil, you are going to see that he's been mates with Jerome Boateng and all of them to the highest point. If you click on any player in any serious national team, they might have had some relationship. Over 70% or 60% may have played together at the under 17 or under 20. That is where you inculcate the spirit of the country in them. That is where they get to understand how this country supports football, how it means to play for them, how it means to be on the field and don the jersey of this country. What brand of football do they like? How do we play? How do we interact? How do we even exhibit features and manners, our body language on the field when we are losing? What is the principle of this team? Do we have a never say die spirit, or we are always going to win games regardless of the opposition? These are things you teach them when they are young. Ghana has become a country of quick fixes. In the last few years, especially after the 2010 World Cup, where we migrated Celastetes under 20 team to the Black Stars under Milo, we've not had any plan. We've been using the Ben Kofi program and the 93-94 Michaelisian and Sulemuntari system to the Asamoah level. Look at how Asamoah entered the national team. Played in the Ghana League, was almost the top scorer when he was 17. Had played for the secondary school games, was well known, understands the Ghanaian terrain. So all these players, having known Asamoah, they don't struggle to pass the ball to him. They understand when he needs a pass. They understand where to hit the ball to. Every proper jurisdiction football, you take the national team, and not a single one of them started straight playing in the senior national team. No. It's like going to the university straight because you are matured. How do you get the basics? You get the basics by fraternizing, by familiarizing with the culture of the people, the language, the food. It doesn't come by magic, by the blink of eye. You need to work. German national team, England, all of them. I spoke about Lamine Camara, the guy who scored for Senegal against Gambia, that masterclass of a goal. You say he's playing his first AFCON. Of course, yes. But he's been wearing the Senegalese national team jersey from when he was 15. Now, 5 years later, he's playing for the senior team. So even though it is his first AFCON, he understands what it feels to play for them. He knows the weight of the jersey. He's already met some of these senior players. There are players in the team now who he migrated from under 20 with them. So he doesn't feel any inexposed or like a fish out of water. He knows all of them. We put together a team and none of them have played together. We put them in camp for 10 days and think that we have a national team in 10 days. Fast food. It doesn't work like that. You cannot play with a team when you don't know the strengths and weaknesses from sleeping with them in the same room, by playing with them when you are young, by knowing that this guy has a chronic injury. This guy, you cannot pass the ball to him. These things are Not things that you can learn in 1 week or 2 weeks of camping in Dubai. No. It takes time. It's a process. It may not always get you the results at the opportune time you want, but definitely one day, because it's a process, you will achieve the results. That's why I'm afraid of countries like Morocco, Mauritania, Mali, Senegal, who have taken their youth football seriously and producing talent and talent. There are so many talents in Ghana. We used to do this. Why have we abandoned? Times that there was no money in football. Now you have $10 million coming in from the World Cup. 10 million can do a lot. Establish a hostel facility where you can camp the 50 best youngsters in Ghana, 14, 15 years, and camp them for 2 years or 3 years of their secondary education. 3 years of their secondary education in Pram Pram or in Winneba, learning football and learning the academic curriculum. By 17, 16, 17, they've matured. Clubs get them in Europe, in Ghana, or in Africa. They've known themselves. If you invite them to camp, there is no acrimony. There is no language barrier. They've known themselves. So nobody wants to accept that we can go back to the basics and get ourselves some 10-year plan. If we win the AFCON in Abidjan, good. But I will always want us to have a plan. The evidence is in the lineup the coach put up against GFA. None of them have played together at any level of our national team. Communication was even a problem. Some of them as defenders were playing for the first time in a competitive game. You cannot do this. If you have John Mensah and Michael Essien who have played in centre back since under 12, do you think it will be easy that anybody penetrates? You will score them, but of course, they know themselves. You avoid some petty and silly goals and elementary mistakes. We have to go back. We really have to accept that we have fallen, and we cannot rise by simply saying we have the team. We have gone around the world to pick players of Ghanaian descent, and we are putting them together in 10 days. No. The painful truth is that somebody must be able to say, I am starting the Ben Kofi 5-year development plan. I am also going to start, and not by words of mouth or sloganeering. We should go to Pram Pram and see that the 50 or 45 best Ghanaian youngsters from the secondary schools and other modes of scouting have been brought there, are staying together as the Ghana under 15 team before they go to the under 17 where professional football starts. When they secure moves to Europe, if you have 50 players, 10 of them will become professionals. And if these 10 form part of your consistent national team, you will win trophies one day. But if you keep on calling players, disposing them off, go to Germany Division 2, there is a guy with a name, Amoakon, you go to look at the Belgian national team. All of them, Company, De Bruyne, Hazard, this was the golden generation. It didn't just happen. All of them, all these players, you can see Lukaku. Watch Lukaku's interview and the documentary. How they started. Mbappe and co. stayed in Clairefontaine. Majority, 60% of the French national team that won the World Cup had played together in their youth national team or had stayed in Clairefontaine, their national center. You cannot put together a national team in 2 weeks. Never. We must accept and go back to the basics. Make use of money properly and stop squandering millions of dollars when we don't have a plan. You cannot keep chasing players from other leagues, from other countries. Some of them who have been rejected, they come and play. Of course, it's good, but that is the shortest way. You cannot form a national team like that. You can only form a national team, a solid one, when you have a plan in place. And that is the only way you may win with this practice of quick fix. But the only way to be consistent like the ACNs and co, is when you have a plan in place. Thank you.